Hey, it's me again. I promised a Q&A video, and I'm finally here to deliver. I got a shocking number of comments, and I will do my best to get to most of them. I no doubt missed a few because sorting is hard, and if I didn't get to your question, then I do apologize. Anyways, let's get started. First question, what's your least favorite war crime? Off to a flying fucking start, I say. Well, I've always kind of thought that something like execution of POWs is pretty overdone. It's so spiceless, you gotta have, like, use of bioweapons, for instance. Now that's a war crime with some chest hair. Anyways, next question. Is your username based off Halo? Yes. Yeah, I was, in fact, a 12-year-old at one point in time. As weird as that may sound. But yeah, no, my very first FPS ever was Halo Reach. And when I finally got Xbox Live, I thought I was so fucking cool and unique naming myself after my favorite video game. So yeah, there were several iterations of this name before we ended up at Spartan761's specifically. But all of them had the general theme of Spartan and numbers. Are you planning on making videos that aren't history? Maybe. I don't know, at some point. This will always be a history channel specifically, but I do have a lot of really dumb ideas that go through my head every now and then, so it's always possible. The main thought I had about this was, like, maybe making a second channel at some point in the future, but that's not soon. That is way, way fucking down the line. So, different videos? Maybe. We'll see. Are you a Skibbity Toilet, Giat, Ohio, Yaki, Baby Gronk, Rizzler, Imperium, Yak and Hall Gamer? It is said that in the Garden of Gethsemane that Christ saw every sin humanity would ever commit, which means that he looked forward in time and had to witness you type this out and then post it in my comment section. And he still chose to die for our sins, which I think is truly beautiful. But seriously, please take your meds. The actual question was, how do you make videos? The short answer is Google Docs and DaVinci Resolve. I make glorified slideshows. It's not exceedingly complicated, I assure you. Of all the people you've talked about, who would you most likely live with? Certainly not fucking Dodavanger, respectfully. But, honestly, probably the basic bitch answer, but probably Norris. I think he's just such a chill dude, right? You can't go wrong. On a similar note, who would I interview if I had a time machine? I haven't talked about him yet, but unironically, probably Adrian Arcan. He's just such a perplexing figure. Why do you exist? What drives this man? Like, these just things I want to know, especially as a Canadian, right? He's just so abnormal. So I think it would be very fun to just have, like, a sit-down conversation with the guy. On a similar note, what's your favorite personality in history? This is an impossible question, and I know it's impossible because I get asked similar questions in real life way too fucking often, and I can never answer them. It's the same thing as, like, oh, what's your favorite time period in history? I don't know. There's so much shit to talk about here that you can't really just coalesce it into one specific person that's your favorite, right? New Zealand video when? Respectfully, you can't fool me, brother. I know New Zealand isn't real. Don't bring your fucking conspiracy theories into my fucking channel. On a serious note, I could eventually. I don't know when, but I know basically nothing about the history of New Zealand because I've never really thought that hard about New Zealand. So it could be interesting to learn about, but that's definitely something for the future. Related to this, when topic video. All I can say is I've gotten so many suggestions by this point that this website will probably die before I run out of content ideas, which I'm not complaining about, but unfortunately I most likely won't be able to get to every single request that has been put in my comment section. And I do sincerely apologize for that. I will do my best to get to as many of your suggestions as possible, but I am one guy, and realistically speaking, I'm not sure how many I can get through. So, when will I cover your favorite character? At some point. We'll see. Also, the next aircraft carrier video will happen by the end of the year, I promise. I also got a bunch of questions about university, so yeah, I'll just answer them all at once. Yes, I am indeed studying history because I make very poor financial decisions. And yes, it is quite enjoyable. I'm actually having a good time with it, so I'd say it's been worth it so far. I've been having fun. I've met a lot of good people, and I've learned quite a bit, so also got got a series of questions about Warhammer, because I reference it on occasion. My primary army is, in fact, Gene Stealer cults, because, again, like I said with college, I hate money. Money is cringe. But saying I play them would be a bit of an overstatement. I haven't been at home a lot in the past couple of years, so I suffer from a severe case of gray plastic syndrome, and the majority of the people I know don't play Warhammer, because it's expensive and painting is time-consuming. But in the event that I do actually get my cults painted, then yes, I will do my best to actually play the game. I do have other armies too. For Age of Sigmar, I have Soulblight Gravelords, and I also have a non-specific amount of Alpha Legion, but they will never see the light of day most likely because they were my first army and therefore are painted in like 7 different shades of blue. So yeah, I do in fact play Warhammer. It's fun. We're chilling. What province do you live in? I'm from Wild Rose Country. It's basically the Texas of Canada. If you were to make a focus tree for a person you've covered, who would it be, what mod would it be for, and what would it be like? Damn good question that I struggle to come up with an answer for. The majority of the people I have covered are represented in Hoy mods already, so there's not a lot I could come up with for most of these people because they already have stuff. But the most immediate thing that comes to mind is giving Schöner's East Asia a full tree in Kaiser Redux. I guess the problem with this is that the real role he could take is kind of subsumed by the AOG in China, so I don't really know what direction you could take Schöner in, but I just think the idea of an army guy running the navy is funny, so I'll say Schöner's East Asia. How did you get interested in history and when wacky people? I think I know the answer, but I'm not entirely sure because this was years ago. But way back in the day, I was actually the science guy, funnily enough. Way back in like grade 6 and 7, I was probably destined to be like a fucking chemist or something. As cringe as it may sound, unironically, I stumbled upon a World War II documentary in between watching like Minecraft on YouTube or some shit. I cannot remember what it's called and I have not found it since, but it was like 13 or 14 parts and it was so aggressively in-depth, and I was just utterly struck. I don't know, something about the black and white war footage made something in the monkey brain go, ooh, and yeah, it kind of just spiraled from there. When wacky people, that I couldn't tell you. Becoming interested in very specific parts of history is something that kind of just happens, right? Everyone develops the tism at some point, right? Yeah, it kind of just came about as a natural consequence of me learning more about history. What's your favorite TNO focus tree? Guangdong. It's not even a contest. Guangdong is the only country in the mod that I have willingly gone back and played more than once, so I could actually like witness the story of the other paths. I know TNO is basically a visual novel, and I know it gets some shit in the community for that, and I think there's good reason for that, because a lot of the older stuff in TNO, like especially in Russia, is not particularly well written in my opinion, but Guangdong is just legitimately peak fiction. I was about halfway through the playthrough as Ibuka, and I actually caught myself reading the events and legitimately getting invested in his own story of, self-discovery, and it's like, holy shit, it's insane. If future TNO content is even half as good as Guangdong is, I think the mod is going to be fucking fantastic in the future, but that's just me. If you're from Toronto, I'm gonna have to unsub. Based. Fuck Toronto. All my homies hate Toronto. Who is the wackiest person you've covered? Definitely Yaki. When you read about neo-Nazis, there's a general pattern that they tend to follow, right? But Yaki just doesn't follow that pattern. He's a whack job who carves his own path, and I think he's weirdly fascinating because of it. I also got multiple questions about creating a cult of personality, to which I say yes. Absolutely. How much of the research is just Wikipedia? Well, to be honest, more than it probably should be. I know Wikipedia is frowned upon and it's not a good source for very good reasons, admittedly, but sometimes it just makes things so easy. Now, I have been getting better at not using Wikipedia. I definitely used to be way worse for it, but I have been doing my best to use more robust sources. Video lengths are an indicator of this. Generally, if I'm working out of a book or something, it'll inflate the shit out of the length. So, to answer the question, more than it probably should be, but less than it definitely could be. I'm getting better, I promise. Do your opinions change when researching people? Yes. I try to go in with an open mind, but by the end, I 100% have developed opinions of people. I think that's just a part of being human, right? There's no person on Earth who is 100% objective in everything they do. I think that's a physical impossibility. There will always be opinions. Opinions do in fact change as we go. Why I hate the British? 'Cause fuck 'em, that's why. How are you so unexplainably handsome? Well, it's a combination of eating right, a good skincare routine, and roids. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty okay, honestly. I think everything's going all right. Can't necessarily complain. How about you? You chilling? You doing okay? Where is your ideal place to live? Well, the perfectly ideal place to live does not exist and will never exist because humans get in the way. But yeah, I don't know. For all of Canada's problems, I don't really see myself living somewhere else, at least not in the immediate future. What's your opinion of monarchy and who's your favorite monarch? I think monarchy is fine if it's done well and the monarch is competent, because competent monarchs are generally pretty good. But the problem is that if you have an incompetent monarch, monarchy is one of the worst systems on earth, because if there's one person guiding your entire nation and they suck, it's very, very hard to change course unless you kill him or overthrow him. Like I said, if monarchy's done well, then it's fine. But the odds of it being not done well, I think, are too high for me to be totally 100% pro-monarchy. As for favorite monarch, probably Louis XIV, because l'état c'est moi goes hard as fuck. What do you think about people reacting to your videos? Why did you change your channel name? And 3, would you ever do a collab or podcast? Okay, as for reactions, I mean, it's whatever, I guess. Like, as long as you aren't staring and just saying, chat, is this real? I don't see the problem. Like, as long as you're, I don't know, building on it, it's fine. But I think the problem is the majority of reaction content is not building on it, and it's basically just theft at that point. As long as you give credit and put effort into it, then it's whatever, right? Like, I don't really care. As for the channel name, I didn't really change it. It was originally Spartan761's, I think, and I changed it because of all things, I was playing Destiny 2 one day, and I got a Steam message from a guy asking me if I was from Guam, because I guess 671 is like the area code for Guam. So I went, okay, that won't do, so I changed it, because I am in fact not from Guam. But other than that, I haven't changed it. So as for collabs, I think it would be neat, but that would require me to actually talk to other humans. So we'll see how that goes, but I don't know, I'd be down. I would never personally start a podcast, because everyone and their cat has a podcast these days, but I'd love to appear on one. We need to know in the Q&A how many hours of Hearts of Iron 4 this man has. We don't need to talk about that. Ignore it. We need a history of you. Do YouTubers still make Draw My Life videos? Does anyone remember those? Am I just a fucking fossil? I don't know. Maybe I'll make one of those as a shitpost one day. I can't draw for shit, so it would be great. What are your political beliefs? Fuck. To keep things simple, I'll say that I'm center-left with a whole bunch of asterisks on the end of that relating to very specific circumstances. I have a very, very patchwork belief system, so we'll just keep it easy and say I'm center-left and just leave it at that. Brownies or cookies? Okay, this is an actually hard question. It depends on the type of cookie. I think white chocolate macadamia nut cookies clear brownies pretty fucking easily. But a brownie is orders of magnitude better than something like an oatmeal raisin cookie, for instance. And then you get into flavors of brownies. Like a triple chocolate fudge brownie is better than like the majority of cookies. But would I have a triple chocolate fudge brownie over a cookie? Then you well, what's classified as a brownie? Is a Nanaimo bar a brownie? Where do you draw the line between brownies and fudge, right? Like, I think this kind of question is kind of hard to answer, because there's a spectrum of how good cookies and brownies are in comparison to each other. I don't know, maybe I'm fucking schizophrenic and I'm overthinking the shit out of this question. And finally, do you have a girlfriend? Ha, I wish. I am eternally maidenless, not just because I play Hearts of Iron 4. And I think we're done. Nice. I don't really know how to end this, to be honest. It's exam season, so I need to go back to playing Elden Ring, because a character for the DLC won't level itself. That about does it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you around.